Istanbul. Merhaba. Salam. How are you? Thank you for staying until this moment. My name is Jawdat. I came from Jordan to share with you guys some insights about the consumer behavior, the e-commerce consumer behavior in the Middle East, specifically in the Arabic-speaking countries. All right, let's have a quick look at the market. Here we have the internet users in each market. As you can see, Egypt is the largest in terms of internet users. Second, we have the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Then we have the UAE. Those are the three biggest markets when it comes to internet users. Online buyers, we also have Egypt as the biggest market with 17.7 million. And by the way, these stats are from 2016. And thanks to our friends from Payfort for providing these information. We have also KSA at 12 million. It's a bit more than that now. And we have UAE at 7 million. Also, when it comes to the category size, the spend, we see that the UAE is leading the market at 3.5 billion. Then we have KSA. Then we have Egypt. Look at this chart now. It's talking about the gender. See which basically buying more. Is it the male or the female? As you can see, there's almost the male is almost dominating most countries. The only fair split is in the UAE. Other than that, as you can see, it's almost always more than 70% male. I think there's an opportunity here for you guys to approach the market and maybe offer more female-related products. I think that's a gap in the market right now. And here's basically the top buying categories. I know the chart is very complicated. It's not easy for you guys to understand it, but it basically means that every market in every country has a different numbers. And by the way, you can go to payfort.com and generate a similar report. Okay, I'm going to try to skip the charts. And here's, by the way, the preferred payment method. Of course, not surprising, cash on delivery is still, unfortunately, the preferred payment option in MENA. But as you can see, it's different from one country to the other. Credit cards are becoming more and more used. By the way, there's also something new in the market starting April in Saudi Arabia. Almost every user with a debit card can use it online. So all of a sudden, we have like 29 million credit cards that can be used, which is a very good news for the e-commerce. So now we can see more and more credit card transactions. And here we also see the online age groups. So if you guys are trying to target a certain country, you need to understand the age groups. You need to understand also the income levels so that you can offer the right products for each country. All right. The big question now is, what do Middle Eastern consumers want? It reminded me actually of a movie, What Women Want. Who watched that movie? Only a few. I can tell you a little bit about it. Something happens to Mel Gibson in this movie, and all of a sudden, he can hear what women are saying to themselves. So of course, this is brilliant, because at the end of the movie, he could get whatever he wanted. So when we try to understand consumers, I think we'll be able to achieve magnificent results. So let me give you a bit of what the consumers in the Middle East want. Number one, they want exceptional mobile experience. This is very, very important, guys. In most online e-commerce platforms in the Middle East, most of the transactions are happening from mobile. We're talking about 70+%. That's huge. So you really need to make sure that you have an exceptional mobile experience, and definitely, preferably an app. Also, people in the Middle East are now spoiled. Most of the providers, they provide either same-day or next-day delivery with free shipping. Of course, there's a minimum for the free shipping, but it is usually ranges between $25 or more. So most orders are now becoming free and fast shipping. So if you guys plan to ship to the Middle East, you need to make sure that this is a tough thing to work on. And of course, they love localized payment methods. In every country in the Middle East, there's different payment methods. So I highly encourage you guys to consider having as many localized payment methods as possible. And there's also localized location and address features. So in each country in the Middle East also, it's different. We have different addresses system. So if you decide to deal, again, with any of the countries, you need to understand how the addresses the system works, and you need to work on that. Something also very important is that you need to work on relevant messages. So people in the Middle East, they speak different dialects, and they have different cultures and different identities. So if you want to do exceptional marketing, you need to understand their behavior very well, and you need to sound and look like a local. This will help you a lot. And definitely, you have to be very, very active on social media. People in the Middle East are very obsessed with the social media channels, namely Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. So if you decide to go to that market, you need to be sure to be very active on social media and expect questions, expect people to interact with you all the time. And here is a chart also about the most used platforms in the Middle East. As you can see, the part where it says, I do not use social media, is almost not present. So almost everyone, more than 95% of online users in the Middle East, they have some sort of a presence on social media. All right, and one thing I think we all hate that, they hate risk. What do I mean by they hate risk? If they want to order something from an overseas provider, they would really hate if the product is not what they expected. So you really need to have a very flexible return policy. That's very important for them to feel that it is not a risky decision to buy from someone abroad. All right, let's talk about some of the tools that will help you better understand the consumer behavior actually everywhere. The first one is something called keyword research. And keyword research basically is the process of finding what people are searching for on search engines and how we can basically learn from that. Keyword research can basically help you to know what questions people are asking about you, what questions are people asking about your competitor, what problems are they seeking solutions for, and you can also measure your brand awareness and find opportunities. I'll elaborate more. The first tool is Google Trends. I don't know if you guys have heard of it or are using it. It's a very helpful tool, and it's a free tool from Google, where basically, for example, you can see which brand has more search in a certain country. As you can see, I picked Saudi Arabia the past 5 years, and I compared Coke with Pepsi, and you can see basically which brand has more presence on search engines or is searched more. You can also use the tool to know which languages are people using Google for. As you can see, I wrote clothes in English and malabis in Arabic, and as you can see, the difference is huge. So I think, needless to say, that if you decide to go to an Arabic-speaking country, you definitely have to have an Arabic interface. I mean, look at the difference. And you can also see if people are interested in a certain category or not. So as you can see here, I searched for perfumes, and as you can see, the interest is growing. And there's also a seasonality, which is around Eid time. So this is another way to understand the trends on the search engine. This is very important to tackle and use. And there's another tool that I recommend. It's called keywordtool.io.
There are 3.5 billion searches made on Google every single day. Every search is done using a keyword. Do you do business online? Then you'd probably want to know what keywords can bring the relevant audience to your website. But Google doesn't make it easy for you to find the best keywords. It hides many search terms from analytic tools. It protects search volume data. And yes, it hides billions of valuable keywords from people that use Google Keyword Planner. Why? Because Google wants you to pay money for ads. To charge you more, it needs more and more advertisers competing for a small number of keywords. Fierce competition makes the cost per click go up, together with Google's profits. But there is an easy way to find many popular keywords that your competitors might not even know about. You might have heard about it. It's Google Autocomplete. Google uses a sophisticated algorithm that suggests the most relevant and popular keywords when you start typing a query into the search box. And Keyword Tool helps you to get these great keyword suggestions from Google Autocomplete fast and easy. When you search on Google, most likely you will see the maximum of 5 autocomplete suggestions. But guess what? Keyword Tool can get up to 20 keyword suggestions for exactly the same search term. Yet we go even further. We will take your seed keyword, put it in the Google search box, add different letters and numbers, and get hundreds of useful keywords for you in a matter of seconds. Give it a try right now.
All right. Here's an example of using this tool. I searched for Amazon, and look what people are actually searching for. Does Amazon ship to Saudi Arabia? This is the most searched keyword. I'm sorry that it's not very clear, but you can check the tool and try it out yourself. I also searched, for example, an Arabic word, clothes, malabis, and saw what people are actually searching for. And look at the average searches per month. It's huge. We're talking about 27,000 searches per month, which is about 1,000 daily. People are searching, for example, the top one is children clothes. I also, for example, if you want to source for a certain brand, let's say, for example, Casio watches, you can see what people are basically searching for related to this brand. This will give you a very good idea about what to buy. Okay? Another thing that I recommend highly is having a site search. So basically, this is a report from Google Analytics where you see what people are actually searching for on your website. This is very important to give to your sourcing team. This report can be, in fact, scheduled. So you can basically automatically send it to your buying team so that they know what people are searching for on the site. This can bring you lots of revenue. All right, and another thing that I recommend that you guys use something called heat map tools, where you plug this on your website. One of the tools that I recommend is called Hotjar. So you basically see where people are clicking. So you try to understand their behavior. They may be clicking somewheres where it should be clickable and it is not. You also see the recordings, why people are basically abandoning the site, why they are not completing a purchase. You can see the conversion funnels. You can see form analysis. If you have a big registration form, where people are basically dropping, and so that you can fix it. And you can also use social media listening tools. I also recommend this technique so that you know what people are talking about your competitors, about your brand, about a certain product they're trying to buy. It's really, really one of the very beneficial tools is the social media listening tools. One of them is Mention, Meltwater, etc. And so the key takeaways in general, the market is definitely still very, very big and huge. As the gentleman said in the morning, we're expecting it to double or triple in the very coming few years. You have also to know that each country in the Middle East is it's a complete identity. So each country has its own identity and culture and dialect, so make sure you localize for each country. As I also mentioned, the address system and the payment methods is very important. Use the keyword tool, as I mentioned, to find good opportunities. You really need to do your homework and research before entering any market to understand it very well. And my last advice is consumers need to trust you. So give them reasons to trust you. And that's about it. Thank you.